Saika Academy is a prestigious school because it gathers the most talented students in the institution. They are top performers in the fields of art, martial arts, and performance. At this academy, Asa Subaru was once a genius actress. She was famous for her exceptional acting skills and extraordinary physique. However, in stark contrast, her son, Yu Ace, was just an ordinary student. He didn't possess any outstanding talent. This disappointed many people, because Yu's face looked exactly like his mother's. Yet his abilities were completely lacking. During the classification exam, Yu only achieved an average score. Many believed he at least had some physical potential. However, when Yu was challenged to a duel, he quickly lost and became the laughingstock of the entire school. Fortunately, a girl suddenly appeared. Her name was Nico Mikadono. Nico was the captain of the physical training division and one of the 3 emperors of the academy. She knocked out the opponent and rescued Yu. Immediately after, the other 2 emperors, Miwa and Kazuki, also appeared. They caused the entire scene to become chaotic. At that moment, Yu was astonished when he realized that all 3 emperors of the academy were female. Immediately after that, the final exam results were finally announced. All the students held their breath in anticipation. Everyone believed that the son of the genius Subaru would surely make a remarkable impression. However, the truth left the atmosphere in complete silence. The results showed that Yu was completely ordinary, because he didn't possess any outstanding talent at all. Kazuki seemed disappointed, while Yu remained indifferent, because from the beginning, he had already chosen to study in the basic program. But since he was Subaru's son, being placed in a regular class would surely shock the entire school. Yu secretly told himself to stay away from those 3 troublesome emperors. But Nico forced him to stay behind and clean the dojo as punishment for losing. He was mocked by others. Yet Yu still stayed and cleaned everything so thoroughly that everyone was astonished. Yu once tried hard to be acknowledged as Subaru's son, but when he realized he had no talent, that made him gradually learn to accept his differences. Yu recalled that his last memory with his mother was when she told him to build a happy family of his own. After Subaru passed away, Yu was adopted by his mother's friend, Mr. Mikadono. Yu's new home turned out to be a luxurious mansion. But before he could settle in, he was suddenly attacked by a girl who mistook him for a thief. That person turned out to be Nico. Immediately after that, Miwa and Kazuki also appeared. Yu was shocked to learn that all 3 emperors were actually Mikadono's daughters. And from that moment on, they became his sisters, living together under the same roof. From here, Yu's everyday life was completely turned upside down. Although the 3 girls were talented, they were terribly clumsy when it came to housework. The rooms were messy, the dishes piled up for an entire week, and the laundry wasn't done. Nico made excuses to avoid cleaning. Miwa complained that washing clothes was too exhausting, while Kazuki gave up washing the dishes because she broke too many of them. While the 3 of them were mocking him, Yu quietly cleaned everything by himself. The result left all 3 completely astonished. Not only that, Yu was also willing to cook and take care of the household chores. Gradually, those actions began to soften the hearts of the 3 sisters. One morning, Yu prepared a family meal. But all 3 sisters were busy with their own work. Kazuki had to practice with her theater troupe. Miwa was training in shogi. And Nico went to the martial arts club. Yu felt a bit sad when no one sat down to eat with him. Then he realized the reason. All 3 of them maintained a strict routine to preserve their prodigy-level performance. That made Yu think of his mother, because she too had once lived wholeheartedly for her passion, sacrificing her ordinary life. Before leaving, Yu simply called them back just to say, "Take care." That seemingly simple phrase unexpectedly moved all 3 girls. But for Yu, it was the first step toward fulfilling his mother's final wish. He needed to build a happy family, no matter how different they all were. Later, Mr. Mikadono called Yu to tell him that he would be busy, and that he wouldn't be coming home often. Therefore, Yu had to live together with these 3 monsters. Mr. Mikadono hoped Yu could help his daughters overcome their struggles, because these were the kinds of challenges geniuses must face. From then on, the girls gradually began to open their hearts to Yu. After a few days living in the Mikadono household, Yu started to feel the pressure. All three sisters were about to face major challenges. The eldest, Kazuki, was preparing for a difficult acting role. The second sister, Nico, had to defend her national karate winning streak. And the youngest, Miwa, had an important shogi match ahead. Compared to them, Yu had nothing outstanding, only clumsiness. He began to fear that, since he wasn't good at anything himself, one day he might not be able to help them avoid failure. With the determination to bring the family closer, Yu chose the simplest way. He started with a shared meal. When Nico came home, he immediately invited her to try the dish he had cooked. Nico, who was used to a strict diet, thought that Yu couldn't possibly do anything to tempt her. But Yu didn't give up. He bought more cookbooks, studied carefully the nutritional needs of athletes, and was determined to create a perfect meal. While Nico remained cold and distant, she was eventually moved by his effort. She agreed to sit down as a judge and taste his food. Yu was overjoyed, thinking that he had finally won her affection. Not only with Nico, Yu also prepared a special menu for Miwa. That day, it had been a long time since the two sisters had sat down to eat together. The scene made Yu feel a warmth like that of a true family. However, Kazuki coldly refused. She claimed, "Yu's cooking skills aren't enough to win me over." Nico got angry at her attitude. While Yu remained patient, he continued to cook for all three of them. 3 days passed, yet Kazuki still stubbornly refused to accept Yu. At school, she was famous and always admired by her classmates. But to Kazuki, Yu was just an extremely ordinary guy. Even though he was Subaru's son, Yu wanted to learn more about the eldest sister. So he went to ask Nico. But she flatly refused. He then turned to Miwa for help. Miwa was usually quiet and rarely interacted with others. She often distanced herself from her peers because she thought they were mediocre. At first, she didn't want to answer. But when she saw Yu's persistence, Miwa gradually opened up. She told him that when they were little, Kazuki used to be very happy whenever their mother cooked her a special dish. That story gave Yu an idea. He would try to recreate that dish, hoping that Kazuki might finally agree to sit down and eat with the family. The opportunity came when Kazuki fell ill. Even with a high fever, she still tried to act strong. Yu prepared porridge to help her recover, but she refused to eat it. Not giving up, he kept cooking various dishes. But each time, they were all rejected. Worried about Kazuki's health, Yu decided to volunteer as her rehearsal partner. He used his background as the son of actor Subaru to convince her. He mentioned that he had performed in front of others since he was only 2 years old. Hearing that surprised Kazuki, but when she listened to Yu recite his lines, she felt disappointed. Kazuki believed that Yu was only relying on his mother's fame, while he didn't truly understand what genuine effort meant. Then she kicked him out of the room. Even so, Yu didn't give up. He practiced day and night to improve his acting. Yet every time he entered Kazuki's room, he was still mercilessly driven away. One night, Kazuki happened to see Yu practicing alone. His shirt was soaked in sweat. Yet Yu clenched his teeth and kept going. That sight made Kazuki stop in her tracks. In that very moment, she realized Yu wasn't lazy as she had thought. He was simply trapped within his own limits. For the first time, Kazuki looked at Yu with different eyes. The next morning, Kazuki decided to give Yu a chance to rehearse with her. At first, he was still clumsy, and his delivery was stiff. But when he said the line, "Thank you," his voice carried a sincere tone. That moment unexpectedly touched Kazuki's heart. In her eyes, Yu was no longer the useless, incompetent boy she once thought he was. He had proven himself to be someone who truly put in effort. Yu was also deeply moved, because for the first time in years, he felt that his efforts could actually reach someone's heart. Kazuki didn't say it out loud, but deep inside, a hint of jealousy arose within her, because with just a single short line of dialogue, Yu could express such genuine emotion, while she, the one praised as a prodigy, had never experienced such authenticity herself. In the end, Kazuki admitted defeat in this battle of determination. She agreed to eat Yu's cooking, but on one condition: he must never include the vegetables she hated, such as carrots, eggplants, or shiitake mushrooms. That condition made Yu both amused and helpless. It turned out the eldest sister, Kazuki, was actually a picky eater through and through. The next morning, Kazuki finally sat down to eat the meal Yu had prepared. Her two younger sisters were so shocked that their jaws dropped. Kazuki confidently declared, "As long as there are no carrots, I can eat the whole world." But what she didn't know was that Yu had cleverly minced the carrots and mixed them into the dish. Seeing Kazuki's embarrassed expression, Yu couldn't help but feel delighted. He felt that he had taken the first step toward winning over this difficult eldest sister. Even so, most of the time, Yu still had to eat alone, because all three sisters were busy practicing for their performances and competitions. Those quiet moments made Yu recall his past with his mother. Yu's mother was a brilliant actress. She often had to go away for long filming schedules. But that distance once made Yu long deeply for a true family. His mother's final words to him were, "Build a happy family." That message still echoed in his heart. That night, Yu replayed the movie he used to watch with his mother. When the scene of his mother as a bride appeared, he quietly shed tears. At that very moment, the three Mikadono sisters walked in. They thought Yu was missing his mother. Kazuki coldly reminded him, "You don't need to exhaust yourself doing all the housework just to please us. After all, you're only living here temporarily." But Yu looked straight at them and firmly said, "I truly want to get along with everyone. I want to build a happy family together with you." The three sisters were momentarily taken aback. Nico retorted, "It's easy to say, but doing it is the hard part." Right when the wedding scene appeared on the screen, all three teased Yu, saying, "Don't tell us you want to turn us into brides?" Yu hurriedly denied it, but he accidentally blurted out a question asking Nico's age to know how to address her properly. The three immediately got angry. The next morning, while preparing breakfast, Yu accidentally embarrassed Nico when he caught a glimpse of her wearing thin clothes. Miwa then teased her younger sister, saying she must be falling for Yu. The two sisters started arguing fiercely. As soon as Kazuki returned home, she was dragged into the chaos too. In the end, Yu had to step in to calm everyone down, finally making all three quiet down. While cleaning up, Yu accidentally discovered an old photo of the three sisters when they were little. Their faces were bright and full of happiness, a complete contrast to how they were now. He wondered who had kept the photo, but all three denied it. Deep down, Yu understood. At least one of them still longs to regain the bond they once had. And I'll be the one to help them find it again. That weekend, all three went away to compete in another city, leaving Yu alone in the large house. Yu knew that Nico often forgot to book a hotel, and Miwa always arranged things at the last minute, so Yu took the initiative to book rooms for both of them. That night, when Miwa arrived at the hotel, she unexpectedly ran into Kazuki. Then, Nico also appeared. The three of them finally realized they had accidentally gathered in the same place. At that moment, Yu showed up and revealed, "I was the one who arranged for you to share the same room." He hoped they would have a chance to talk things through. Not only that, Yu also invited all three to join the nearby Cherry Blossom Festival. At first, they all refused because of their busy schedules. But Yu patiently persuaded them. The shrine at that festival is very famous. People believe that praying there will give you confidence before a competition. Even top celebrities often visit the place. Kazuki found it troublesome. Meanwhile, Yu suggested that they try wearing kimono for the occasion. The three sisters finally agreed. At the kimono shop, the shop owner was stunned to see the three Mikadono geniuses appear together. Kazuki chose an elegant outfit, highlighting her noble aura as the eldest sister. Miwa picked one with cat patterns, showing off her playful charm as the second sister. As for Nico, she was stubborn. She said kimonos didn't suit her. The shop owner then chose a simple design that matched her strong personality. But Yu pointed directly at a cute pink kimono and said, "You'd look perfect in this one." Nico isn't just strong, she's also adorable. At first, both Kazuki and Miwa burst out laughing and teased her. But in the end, Nico still tried on the kimono Yu had chosen. But when she stepped out, all three of the others were astonished by Nico's unexpectedly gentle and adorable look. Meanwhile, Miwa continued her shogi tournament. In the preliminary round, she won overwhelmingly, hardly needing to think. The judges were deeply impressed by her performance. However, Miwa wasn't very satisfied because her opponent was too weak. One of the judges reminded her, "Tomorrow you'll face a fourth Dan player who's been in excellent form lately." And that would be a worthy challenge for Miwa. On her way home, Miwa stopped by the Cherry Blossom Festival. In that fleeting moment, memories of her childhood suddenly came rushing back. But she quickly brushed them aside. Yu remained patient and sincere. Step by step, he brought the three sisters closer together. He believed that with more time, Yu could help them rediscover the feeling of being a family again. And that was something Yu himself had always longed for. As night fell, the streets lit up brilliantly. The three Mikadono sisters appeared in their gorgeous kimonos. They drew everyone's attention. Kazuki, with the aura of a star, instantly became the center of attraction. Yu had originally wanted the group to stay together, but Kazuki was quickly surrounded by her fans. He could only watch her from afar. Meanwhile, Nico and Miwa stood in a corner, snacking. Then they split up to play their own games. Yu's plan to stay together completely fell apart. Kazuki still maintained her princely, cool image in front of the crowd. Suddenly, when a female fan accidentally fell, Kazuki immediately caught her in a princess carry pose. The smooth reaction made the whole crowd cheer excitedly. But Yu noticed that Kazuki's heel was scraped. He quietly pulled her aside to a less crowded spot. Yu took out a bandage and insisted that she cover the wound. Kazuki blushed and snapped, "That's disgusting." But Yu replied frankly, "I'd rather have you hate me than let the wound get infected." Moved by his sincere concern, Kazuki's cheeks turned slightly red. For the first time, her expression softened, something rare for her usual demeanor. Meanwhile, Nico and Miwa joined a goldfish scooping game. Nico used brute strength but failed, while Miwa easily won thanks to her dexterity. When Yu and Kazuki returned to join them, the group decided to play the goldfish scooping game in teams. Yu handed Kazuki a funny mask to help her avoid being recognized. For the first time, Kazuki genuinely laughed while playing with her sisters. The once tense atmosphere gradually turned cheerful and warm. To create more memories, Yu joined a challenge game called Crossing the Lotus Pond. It was a competition where the prize was a photo taken with the golden dog statue, Mainu. And it was also the very same image that had once appeared in the childhood photo of the three sisters. For the past 10 years, no one had ever won except the three Mikadono geniuses. One by one, the players gave up, but Yu stubbornly kept trying again and again. Even though the mud soaked him completely, Yu still tried his best to help them reconcile. He observed everything carefully. Yu reasoned that back then, Miwa was the one who found the right path. Nico used her strength to carry her sister. And Kazuki posed brilliantly in front of the camera. It was because the three of them worked together that they managed to win. But with Yu's determination, I want to experience what they did. Yu finally overcame the obstacle. He reached the Torii gate and earned the reward. However, the Cherry Blossom Festival ended early because of the rain. Yu had planned to invite the three sisters to take a photo with the Mainu statue. But in the end, he just stood there silently by himself. He felt completely useless. All his efforts to bring everyone together seemed to vanish. And once again, he was left alone in the rain. Just when Yu thought he had been left behind, all three sisters suddenly appeared. That sight deeply moved Yu. Even though they often got annoyed with him, they still didn't abandon him. On the way back to the hotel, all three sisters simultaneously fought over the umbrella with Yu. In the end, Nico won after a quick game of rock paper scissors. She walked with Yu for only a short distance. Yet her heart started beating unusually fast. She made an excuse, saying it was because her kimono was too tight. But deep down, she felt uneasy. When the group arrived at the hotel, Yu realized he had forgotten to book a room. As the heavy rain poured down, Kazuki decided to let him stay in the same room with the three sisters. After taking a hot spring bath, all four returned to the small, cramped room. While grabbing his things, Yu accidentally bumped into Kazuki, making her blush. Miwa looked a little flustered, while Nico got caught in the chaos as she fumbled for her change of clothes. All three quickly blamed the cramped space to hide their embarrassment. That night, Yu hoped everyone would go to sleep early to prepare for the next day. But he himself couldn't fall asleep, thinking about the moment when the four of them had recreated their childhood photo. In reality, Miwa was the one who had kept that photo, and she understood how hard Yu had tried to bring the three sisters together. Thanks to Yu, They finally had the chance to play and sleep together like in the old days. Even though they often teased each other on the surface, all three sisters couldn't help but recall their old memories. Nico used to love cute things. Kazuki always tried to hide her softness, and Miwa, who was once helped by her sisters, thought it was her own achievement. It had been a long time since they last felt so at ease. Yu, carefree as always, fell sound asleep among the three beauties. While the sisters lay awake, each lost in their own thoughts, they felt both uncomfortable and strangely moved. Because Yu's presence, though clumsy, had somehow changed the cold atmosphere of their family. After the festival trip, the three Mikado no sisters became closer to one another. That made Yu overjoyed. He even promised to treat them to a grand feast once they returned. But when he brought the ingredients home, an unexpected scene unfolded. The three sisters were facing a tense-looking stranger. From the voice alone, Yu quickly realized it was Mr. Mikado no, the uncle who had adopted him. Instead of a warm greeting, the man immediately mentioned that Yu must inherit the talent of his famous mother. Those words left Yu flustered. He felt he had nothing special except a face resembling his mother's. After the brief exchange, Mr. Mikado no asked his three daughters to report their achievements. Upon hearing them, Mikado no nodded in satisfaction, then prepared to leave. Yu hurriedly invited him to stay for dinner. However, at that very moment, he noticed the mask Yu had bought for Kazuki at the festival. A hint of displeasure flashed across his face. He believed that Yu was interfering with his daughter's growth as a prodigy. To him, only those who lacked effort would resort to such superstitious things. He also revealed that he had looked into Yu's background. And even now, Yu had achieved nothing, despite being the son of the genius Subaru. To Mr. Mikado no, this family had no place for the useless. Yu was stunned. He had always thought his uncle was a good person. Yet now he was hearing such harsh words. Yu's uneasy reaction only made Mr. Mikado no more convinced that the boy lacked determination. He almost ordered Yu to leave the house. At that moment, the three sisters spoke up at once to defend Yu. They insisted that it was thanks to Yu that they were able to continue developing their talents. Mr. Mikado no was momentarily taken aback. He hadn't expected his daughters to have grown so close to Yu. At first, Mr. Mikado no had only adopted Yu because he was Subaru's son. In the end, he reluctantly allowed Yu to stay. But with one strict condition: from now on, the three sisters were forbidden to attend festivals or similar activities, and had to devote all their energy to the path of success. In that moment, the three sisters called Yu by his real name for the very first time. That moved Yu deeply. After Mr. Mikado no left, the atmosphere in the house became tense again. Just like when Yu first moved in, Yu gradually realized that the reason the sisters trained so hard, and were even strict with themselves, was because they carried the heavy pressure from their father. Mr. Mikado no truly was a brilliant man. But when Yu looked into the girl's eyes, he sensed traces of frustration and exhaustion. From that day on, each of the three sisters returned to their rigid routines. Nico continued practicing karate until late at night. Barely eating, Kazuki stayed at the theater troupe until dark, no longer drinking the nutritious smoothies Yu made, and Miwa lost interest in chess. Since the sweets Yu had baked had changed her taste, all of them unconsciously realized that the meals Yu prepared had become an important part of their lives. Mr. Mikado no's cold words left Yu disheartened. But when he thought about it, he remembered that his mother, a genius, had once loved a simple movie about an ordinary family. Because of that, Yu became even more determined to create a sense of family for the three sisters. Even if it had nothing to do with talent. The next morning, Yu didn't greet them as usual, which made the three girls feel slightly disappointed. But by lunchtime, Nico opened her bag and unexpectedly found a lavish bento box. Kazuki and Miwa had theirs too. No one said a word, but they all knew Yu was the one who had prepared them. Just seeing them finish their meals was enough to make Yu feel content. In class, since he had woken up early to cook, Yu dozed off right in the middle of the lesson. Meanwhile, Mr. Mikado no still held firm to his iron rule: in this house, anything that didn't serve the purpose of developing talent had no place. Under that pressure, Kazuki took the initiative to suggest that Yu become the official assistant of the three sisters. Only with that title would their father recognize Yu's presence. The three sisters also told Yu directly that although he had helped them a lot, it still wasn't enough for him to be considered a true member of the Mikado no family. Yu accepted that condition. From that day on, he continued preparing lunch for all three and sent them off with the words, "Have a safe day." The simple wish somehow made them feel lighter after a long day. At the theater troupe, Kazuki began rehearsing for the lead female role in a new play. However, she felt it didn't suit her, since she had always played strong, prince-like characters before. Meanwhile, Nico received a call from her senior in the karate club. They wanted to test her progress in the upcoming tournament. Miwa, too, was scolded by her shogi master for losing focus. All three were under heavy pressure and high expectations. But when they returned home, just seeing Yu's silly antics made them laugh and feel at ease. That evening, Yu made udon noodles, kneading the dough with his own hands. The three sisters were impressed by his skill, yet surprised that the taste was only average. That reminded them of their father's words, in the Mikado no household, mediocrity is not allowed. And yet it was precisely Yu's ordinary nature that brought them comfort. After the meal, Kazuki offered to help wash the dishes. Yu was surprised, but Kazuki simply said it was a way to practice being more feminine. While they were cleaning up, Yu curiously asked about her new role. Kazuki grew flustered, since it was her first time playing a young woman in love. At that moment, Yu accidentally dropped a bowl. Luckily, it was a plastic one that he had secretly replaced earlier to prevent Kazuki from being scolded by her father if she ever slipped. But right after that, Yu lost his balance and fell toward Kazuki. The two accidentally collided, their lips brushing together in an awkward instant. Yu panicked and apologized, while Kazuki, blushing furiously, awkwardly brushed it off as a mere accident. However, when she saw Yu's nose bleeding, she couldn't help but worry about him first. The next morning, Kazuki turned off the TV the moment a kissing scene appeared. While Miwa teased Yu, saying the jelly he made was as soft as someone's lips. Kazuki's face turned crimson, and Yu apologized once again. Yu hoped Kazuki would pretend nothing had happened so she could focus on her rehearsals. Kazuki continued practicing the kissing scene for the play, but she failed every single time. Whenever her co-actor got close, she couldn't help but picture Yu instead. The director quickly noticed this and offered her some advice. The next day, Kazuki unexpectedly asked Yu to prepare some high-energy food. Then hesitantly said, "This Sunday, are you free?" Yu looked a bit puzzled but replied, "Yeah, I'm free." Kazuki then bluntly declared, "Then, let's go on a date." Her invitation left Yu completely stunned. He couldn't understand why a genius like her would invite a useless person like him. From afar, Nico and Miwa happened to overhear the conversation. Both wondered why their eldest sister would choose Yu when so many others admired her. Kazuki later explained that she was about to audition for the main female role, a role completely different from the strong, prince-like characters she had always played. The director had advised her that real-life experiences could help her acting. That was why she asked Yu out, to learn how to express femininity. Yu nodded in agreement, but Kazuki immediately warned, "Don't get the wrong idea." That night, Miwa, curious and unable to resist, secretly eavesdropped and found out Yu had actually agreed. This made her furious. The atmosphere at dinner grew heavy and tense. Kazuki simply signaled to Yu that all he needed to do was prepare for tomorrow. On Sunday morning, Nico asked Yu if he was free that day. Yu stammered and denied it, which only made her more suspicious. In the end, Nico and Miwa decided to secretly follow the two of them. Yu eagerly prepared everything carefully for the date. Nico and Miwa, however, felt irritated seeing how cheerful he looked. Kazuki appeared with long, feminine hair, looking completely different from usual. She decided to call Yu by his real name instead of "that kid," which made him thrilled. Their first date location was the aquarium. Yu had planned everything down to the smallest detail, but Kazuki felt awkward trying to act cute. While watching the dolphin show, she instinctively shielded Yu from the splash of water, then suddenly realized it should have been the other way around. Those clumsy moments made her feel uneasy, while her two sisters, watching from afar, were secretly amused that the date wasn't going smoothly. When Yu stepped away for a moment, Kazuki sat alone, feeling disappointed in herself. She thought she was awful for not being able to match Yu's thoughtful effort. Just then, a man from the entertainment industry approached Kazuki and invited her to join a program. Even though Kazuki refused, the man kept pestering her. Yu appeared just in time and stepped in to protect her. In his haste, he blurted out, "She's my future wife." His words made both of them blush deeply. But thanks to that sudden declaration, Kazuki managed to escape the awkward situation. The surrounding crowd began whispering, misunderstanding their relationship. Meanwhile, Kazuki was flustered, her heart racing because of Yu's sincerity. After that, the two held hands, and Yu unconsciously switched to the way couples usually hold hands, which made Kazuki's face turn red again. They then went to the cinema together. By coincidence, Yu had picked a movie featuring Kazuki's senior actress. On screen, the heroine, though talented, couldn't escape her habit of playing male roles, which led the audience to criticize her performance. That scene unintentionally stirred Kazuki's own insecurity, the fear that even her senior had failed at portraying a feminine role. Yu immediately regretted choosing the wrong film, while Nico sarcastically remarked that he had just ruined her sister's mood. By the end of the day, Yu invited Kazuki to ride the Ferris wheel with him. At first, Kazuki wasn't interested, but in the end, she agreed to go. Yu was afraid of heights, so he kept trembling the whole time, which made Kazuki both mock and worry about him. When the cabin reached the top, Yu suddenly stood up. He didn't confess his feelings. Instead, he promised to help Kazuki become the greatest actress in the world. Kazuki felt a little disappointed, but she listened as Yu shared his thoughts. Failure isn't something to fear. Sometimes, imperfections themselves create unique beauty. Yu even showed Kazuki some of her embarrassed photos from their outing, making her realize that she also had a cute side, not just the image of a strong prince. Before the date ended, Yu wished Kazuki success in her upcoming audition. His sincere encouragement made her smile brightly, a smile she rarely showed. She also confided that lately she'd been acting according to what the audience wanted rather than what she truly felt. Thanks to Yu, she finally understood that even flaws can be loved. In the end, Kazuki even admitted that the accidental kiss they had before was actually her first kiss. So she told Yu not to treat it like it never happened. When they returned, Kazuki took off her wig. She returned to her usual, prince-like, image. Nico and Miwa looked at their sister, feeling both relieved and uneasy inside. Yu was surprised when both of them greeted him, something that had rarely happened before. A warm feeling rose in his heart, even though they still treated him like a servant. At least they had begun to acknowledge his presence in the family. The midterm exams were approaching, so Yu and Nico had to study intensely, even reviewing lessons while walking to school. Nico struggled even more because she had to balance studying with her training, while Kazuki remained as relaxed as ever, criticizing that studying on the go ruined one's image. Yu and Nico were both in class 11, often exchanging notes and helping each other, which made them grow closer, causing Kazuki and Miwa to feel a bit jealous. One day while they were talking, Yu accidentally bumped into a thief. He tried to chase after him but was too slow. Fortunately, Nico managed to catch the criminal in time. The opponent was skilled in martial arts, making the fight quite intense. In the end, Nico overpowered him and won, earning everyone's admiration. However, while everyone's eyes were on the girl who had been robbed, only Yu was worried about the small wound on Nico's hand. He wanted to bandage it, but she refused. She thought it wasn't a big deal. But Yu insisted. A small wound is still a wound. Amid the commotion, the thief managed to escape again. However, immediately after, another young man appeared and knocked him out. That man was Hajatu, a martial arts prodigy from Inayama High School. He revealed that he had come here because of Nico. At school, Hajatu announced that his club would be training there for a week. Yu secretly followed them, suspecting that Hajatu had feelings for Nico. But he was quickly kicked out by other members. They didn't like Hajatu, since whenever he showed up, all the girls' attention went to him. Hajatu and Nico had actually known each other from their old dojo. Years ago, he had saved Nico from a group of jealous boys who tried to bully her. And from that moment, he became a hero in her heart. So when Nico asked to spar with him, Hajatu immediately agreed. However, The gap in their skills was too great. And Nico couldn't win even a single round. Leaving everyone surprised, Yu had to pull her away before she recklessly challenged him again. After the match, Hajatu invited Nico to join the Inayama club, even though it was an all-boys school. This year, they finally began accepting female members. And Hajatu even received permission from Uncle Mikadono. Hajatu spoke frankly. If Nico wanted to improve, she had to train with stronger opponents. Staying in this club would only mean standing still. Although the members were displeased, they had to admit he was right. Then, everyone waited for Nico's decision. On the way home, Yu asked Nico how she felt. She admitted that she felt honored, because that boarding school offered a perfect environment. But it also meant she would have to leave her family. If it had been before, she would have agreed without hesitation. But ever since Yu appeared, the once cold house had become warm. That made Nico hesitate. She confided her wish. I want us to stay together, not only with you but also with the club members. During dinner, Kazuki unexpectedly let Nico use her expensive shampoo. Miwa also gave up her favorite dish. Rumors about Nico being recruited had spread throughout the academy. Everyone was worried they might have to part with her. That made Nico feel deeply touched, especially when she remembered Yu's gentle care, which made her blush. The next morning, Nico unexpectedly refused Hajato's invitation. He couldn't accept it, insisting that only by training with him could she become stronger, because they were both aiming for the top. But Nico replied that it wasn't the only option. Hajatu realized that Nico's personality had changed, suspecting it was because of Yu and her two sisters' influence. Just then, Yu suddenly stepped forward to challenge Hajatu. His reason was simple. If the club needed someone strong to train Nico, he would be that person. More importantly, Yu didn't want to be separated from Nico. Even though Hajatu was the #1 karate master, Yu remained determined. Everyone placed a bit of hope in him, since he was the son of the martial arts genius Subaru. Hajatu also became intrigued by that identity. Hajatu agreed, setting the match after the training camp. The reward for the winner would be the right to stay by Nico's side. To prepare, Nico reluctantly agreed to give Yu private training. During their practice match, Yu's clumsy movements discouraged Nico. Yu quickly rushed in, startling her into countering instinctively, and he was instantly knocked down. Nico thought this was no different from throwing an egg against a rock. But Yu still believed that giving up without trying was meaningless. Yu confessed that his challenge to Hajatu wasn't about martial arts, but because he wanted us to stay together. Nico blushed. However, when Yu said that S included Miwa and Kazuki, her excitement vanished instantly. Even so, deep down, Nico understood the feelings Yu had for her. When Yu asked why she refused Hajato's offer, Nico hesitated, then confessed. She wanted to stay with her family and the club, to have Yu see her off every morning, and to work hard together with Miwa and Kazuki. The two sisters happened to overhear everything from the door and immediately promised to cheer for Yu with all their might in the upcoming match. The next day, Nico made Yu train under harsh conditions, just like Saitama, leaving him exhausted and gasping for air. Yu, however, had his own plan. In the challenge letter, he forbade Hajatu from using his dominant hand and leg to gain an advantage. Nico could only watch helplessly at this tricky little scheme. But for Yu, a wise man adapts to the times, as long as he achieved his goal. Nothing was impossible. That evening, Miwa and Kazuki suddenly barged into the kitchen to cook for Yu. When they first arrived, neither of the sisters ever bothered to do any housework. So this action really surprised and delighted Yu. Nico, however, was worried, thinking that if those two cooked, everyone in the house would end up fighting for the bathroom. But seeing how happy Yu was, Miwa and Kazuki were determined to give it a try. After fumbling around for a while, both of them gave up. Seeing that, Yu gently guided them by hand. Kazuki practiced boiling vegetables, while Miwa practiced peeling fruits and roots. Though clumsy, both of them did their best and eventually managed to cook Nico's favorite dish. Nico was touched, since she had thought the food would be burned. From overtraining, Yu was so exhausted he couldn't even hold a spoon. Miwa immediately volunteered to feed him, which made Kazuki refuse to be outdone. Only Nico sat nearby, wanting to help but too shy to do so. Watching their expressions, Nico realized the two sisters had really changed. A few days later, Kazuki and Miwa continued to take care of Yu, which made Nico sigh in frustration many times. Late at night, Yu kept training diligently to prepare for the upcoming match. Nico remembered her promise to Hajatu, that she would become stronger the next time they met. But ironically, it was Nico who had refused Hajato's offer to train together, which had clearly frustrated him. In the hallway, the two happened to run into each other again. Hajatu bluntly told Nico that she had grown weaker, not in skill, but in spirit. He criticized her, saying it was shameful to rely on others. A far cry from the strong girl he once knew. Before leaving, Hajatu declared that he would defeat Yu in the weekend match. After a week of training, Nico noticed that Yu had become much stronger. She apologized for dragging him into this mess. Ever since childhood, everyone had expected Nico to be strong because strength was her natural talent. But in truth, the real Nico liked cute things and always felt scared when facing larger opponents. Those two conflicting sides had always coexisted within her. Because of that pressure, Nico often forced herself to believe she didn't need anything cute. She apologized to Yu once again, but Yu replied that he was the one who had challenged Hajatu on his own. Moreover, Yu also noticed that Nico was different from how she usually described herself. Nico always acted strong, but in reality, she cared about fashion and even paid attention to her hair during training. Yu believed that all of those sides were part of the real Nico, both her strength and her vulnerability. His sincerity made Nico flustered, and she had to punch Yu just to hide her feelings. At first, Nico wanted to decide her future through her own strength, but now, she had changed and wanted to stand side by side with Yu. Yu even joked about ambushing Hajatu together. Nico immediately objected, saying that wasn't an honorable act. However, Yu had already made his own plans. On the day of the match, both Miwa and Kazuki, despite being busy, still made time to come and cheer for Yu. To everyone's surprise, Yu suddenly proposed that Hajatu fight 2 matches, one against him and one against Nico. If Nico won, she wouldn't have to transfer to Inayama, but if both of them lost, Nico would be forced to leave. Hajatu felt helpless before Yu's trick, but in the end, he still agreed. In the stands, many spectators criticized Yu, but he didn't care at all. Yu stepped into the first match. However, Hajatu was a national champion, so within just a few short minutes, Yu was completely defeated. Before leaving the ring, Yu apologized to Nico and encouraged her to give it her all. Touched by his words, Nico regained her confidence and stepped into the next match. Right from the start, Nico chose an aggressive strategy of lightning attacks. She kept closing the distance to limit Hajato's advantage in long-range kicks. Her powerful strikes excited the crowd, but Nico herself knew that Hajatu hadn't used his full strength yet. He was only defending, waiting for the right moment. Then suddenly, Hajatu unleashed a powerful punch that sent Nico crashing to the floor. After that, Hajatu admitted that Nico's speed was impressive. However, since he had trained with her since childhood, every one of her techniques was already in the palm of his hand. If Nico didn't change her textbook fighting style, she would surely lose. When Hajatu began his counterattack, Nico could barely keep up. Just one more strike, and victory would belong to Hajatu. Deep down, Hajatu wanted to take Nico away, because he couldn't stand seeing her so weak. In that moment of despair, Yu suddenly shouted a humorous cheer from the stands. His words made Nico blush, but also laugh. Remembering Yu's silly face during their training, Nico suddenly realized something. Whether she was strong or fragile, she was still herself. She didn't need to live according to anyone's expectations, but had to fight in her own way. Instantly, Nico changed her fighting style. She unleashed a series of unexpected kicks, breaking every pattern she had shown before. Hajatu couldn't react in time, and was forced into a defensive position again and again. The audience watched in astonishment at this transformation, while Yu felt overjoyed to see Nico smiling in the middle of such an intense battle. Hajatu was stunned, almost unable to recognize the girl standing before him anymore. When Kazuki and Miwa finally arrived, they witnessed the moment Nico delivered the decisive kick that defeated Hajatu. The stands erupted in cheers. Nico burst into tears, Unable to believe she had truly won, Yu immediately rushed onto the stage to congratulate her, making Nico embarrassed in front of everyone. But those tears of happiness were something she simply couldn't hold back. After the match, Nico apologized to Hajatu. She understood that, in the end, he only wanted what was best for her. Even though Yu had lost quickly, Hajatu was still impressed. He admitted that Yu had put all his strength into attacking his calf, which was why he couldn't block Nico's final kick. From that, Hajatu realized that Yu cared about Nico far more than he had thought. He also confessed that his own desire to stay by Nico's side had been selfish, because from the very first time they met, he had already liked her. Nico only replied with a quiet, "Thank you." But inside, she was flustered to realize that was a confession. Hajatu then walked away, leaving Nico with a lingering question in her heart. The person she truly wanted by her side, was it him? Or was it Yu? The three sisters and Yu returned home together. They prepared a small party to celebrate Nico's victory. During the party, Yu was still worried because Nico had overtrained. But Nico shyly touched his hand to check his injuries. That gesture felt like a reward for Yu's effort. The brief moment made both of them blush. Sitting nearby, Kazuki and Miwa began to suspect that the two were flirting. But Yu simply suggested that the four of them go to an amusement park, like a real family. Just then, Uncle Mikadono called Nico. Yu suddenly grabbed the phone, boldly saying that even geniuses needed time to rest. At first, Mikadono strongly objected, but when he heard that Nico had defeated the national champion, he gradually admitted that his three daughters had grown up since Yu came into their lives. In the end, he agreed to let them go have fun. Yu was so overjoyed that he shouted out loud in excitement. On the day of the outing, all three sisters prepared carefully. Miwa was the first to arrive. Wearing a sporty outfit, Kazuki showed up in a surprisingly feminine dress. Nico, on the other hand, surprised everyone by choosing a frilly dress, completely opposite to her earlier claim that, "It doesn't suit me." In Yu's eyes, that dress naturally suited Nico perfectly. All three girls secretly held the same plan, to make Yu's heart skip a beat. The first game was the haunted house. Participants were required to go in pairs. Kazuki quickly grabbed Yu to go with her. She believed she could pretend to be scared and make Yu blush. But the result turned out quite the opposite. Instead of being scared, Kazuki became engrossed in analyzing the haunted house's storyline, even scaring the fake ghosts herself. In the end, it was Yu who trembled. Clinging tightly to Kazuki, Kazuki realized that Yu was genuinely happy to have her by his side. Her plan to capture Yu's heart had completely failed. The next game was the roller coaster. Miwa invited Yu to join her, pretending to be a weak, delicate girl, but this time, the result was even more surprising. The one who collapsed wasn't Miwa, it was Yu himself. He sat frozen, unable to even lift his head. Miwa was moved when she heard Yu apologizing for not being good at such rides. She felt even happier when she realized that, even though Yu was weak, he still wanted to stay by her side. In that moment, Miwa unconsciously let Yu rest his head on her lap. Next came Nico's turn. She chose the spinning table ride. Nico hoped the centrifugal force would make her fall into Yu's arms. But reality turned out very different. Yu spun the table too hard, causing the two of them to almost collide. In that fleeting moment when their lips nearly touched, Nico was completely flustered. Her two sisters standing outside could only sigh in exasperation. After that, the group went to eat ice cream together. Miwa tried to charm Yu by sharing the same cone with him. Kazuki chose the love straw tactic. Meanwhile, Nico hesitated because the sweets had too much sugar and fat. In the end, Yu decided to share with Nico so she could enjoy it comfortably. All of the sisters' attempts to seduce Yu ended in utter failure. On the contrary, it was Yu's carefree kindness that made their hearts flutter even more. When the group took a commemorative photo, Nico suddenly realized something. Without Yu, the three sisters might never have gone out and had fun together like this. Although Yu could be annoying at times, he was still an important pillar of the Mikadono household. All three sisters thanked him at once, making Yu blush in embarrassment. He responded sincerely, saying that he was truly happy today. That night, when everyone else was fast asleep, only Miwa remained awake. She quietly watched Yu sleeping beside their new family and smiled softly. After the trip to the amusement park, both Nico and Kazuki were in much higher spirits. One morning, Yu discovered that Miwa had forgotten her bento box. He immediately brought it to the venue where her shogi match was taking place. On the way, Yu accidentally helped a girl who almost fell into a construction site, and even gave her a dried plum candy. The girl just looked at Yu in confusion before walking away. At the hall, Miwa was in the middle of an intense match. Though she was known as the strongest player, she seemed a little unsettled. Her moves not as sharp as usual. Yu couldn't cheer loudly like he did during martial arts matches, and could only watch her quietly. Just then, Miwa licked her lips, a familiar sign that she had secured her victory. Her opponent immediately trembled and quickly conceded defeat. Yu rushed over to congratulate her, leaving Miwa both surprised and embarrassed. After that, Yu handed Miwa her bento box and sat down to eat with her, making him feel like Miwa was a cute little sister. At that moment, the girl Yu had met earlier that morning suddenly appeared. It was Sakura, Miwa's lifelong rival. Sakura scolded Yu for making a bento for Miwa, claiming it had caused Miwa's performance to drop. Even though Sakura had lost to Miwa hundreds of times, she still considered Miwa her greatest goal. In Sakura's eyes, Miwa was a genius capable of competing even in men's tournaments. Sakura declared that in the upcoming championship, she would put an end to Miwa's reign of glory. The three of them then had lunch together. Sakura's self-made bento turned out to be a complete disaster. During their playful argument, Sakura's rice ball flew off into the air. Yu quickly lunged forward to save it but ended up falling with her. This act of kindness made Sakura's heart flutter for a brief moment. But right after that, she slapped Yu due to a misunderstanding. At first, Miwa felt a twinge of jealousy. But then she realized that Yu and Sakura were equally clumsy. Despite often exchanging sharp words, Yu and Sakura still shared a special bond. Yu silently felt happy for Miwa, who had always been lonely, now finally having a friend like Sakura. 1 week later, the title match between Miwa and Sakura began. Although Sakura wasn't particularly outstanding, she was extremely diligent, leaving a strong impression on the audience. Her opponent, Miwa, currently held the most titles. Previously, no one had considered Sakura a worthy rival, but this match made everyone pay close attention. That morning, Yu planned to visit the shrine to pray for Miwa. By chance, Kazuki also came there to play the role of an onmyoji. While Nico chose the shrine as the endpoint of her run, the three of them unexpectedly met. Not long after, Sakura also appeared at the shrine. She declared that she would never give up against a genius. When she heard Yu say that he made a bento and helped Miwa, Sakura immediately criticized him, saying he was nothing more than a servant. She also admitted that she absolutely despised people like that. Before leaving, Sakura boldly declared that she would defeat Miwa. But immediately, Sakura tripped. Yu quickly ran to catch her, and the two of them tumbled down together. Nico and Kazuki, witnessing the scene, immediately blushed, determined to pray for Miwa to crush her opponent. The match followed a best-of-5 format, with the first to win 3 games claiming the title. Yu could only watch through the screen. Kazuki and Nico both had absolute faith in their younger sister. But in the very first game, Miwa unexpectedly lost. The two sisters were bewildered. Yu intended to rush over and encourage her but was stopped by the organizers. That evening, the family prepared triple-sized cat-shaped cakes to comfort Miwa. But Miwa refused to eat, determined to prepare for the next match. However, when she saw Yu patiently staying up late, making hot chocolate and decorating cute cat desserts, Miwa couldn't help but smile. Though she still told Yu, "Let me prepare in peace." In her heart, Miwa was deeply touched by that genuine care. After 2 consecutive losses, Miwa fell into a crisis. The news that she had been defeated by an opponent she had never lost to in over 100 games surprised everyone. Yu hurriedly ran to find her. But on the way, he encountered Sakura. In Sakura's eyes, Miwa was just someone relying on natural talent without enough practice. Sakura believed that Miwa was strong in the endgame, but always vulnerable in the opening moves. Seeing Miwa lose to her, Sakura felt a sense of satisfaction. But Yu thanked Sakura instead. He thought that, if looked at positively, Those harsh words could actually serve as motivation. Miwa just needed to work harder, adjust her strategy, and receive timely encouragement to regain her confidence. Sakura blushed, feeling both embarrassed and flustered. Because in truth, she had only been standing there waiting for Yu. Before leaving, Yu reassured Sakura that Miwa wouldn't give up easily. Those words made Sakura's heart flutter, even though outwardly she still scolded Yu as nothing more than a supporter. When Yu returned home, Kazuki and Nico reported that Miwa had come back but immediately left again. They tried to comfort her, but Miwa coldly retorted that the three sisters were not the same. Those words left the two older sisters silent. It was the first time they had seen Miwa so tense, showing that this title was truly important to her. Intuition told Yu that Miwa would be at their usual cat cafe. So he immediately went there. Sure enough, he found her there. That concludes part 1. See you all in the next part. Today's video ends here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support Oni-chan in making even more fun videos. Thank you all for watching until the very end. Much love.